Last month I showed off my entry for Game Developer Knockout 23. Now this is a 5-round game jam knockout where it tests all aspects of good game design. The first category is all about graphic design and designing a level in a unique location, and some people design some absolutely incredible games. I am not one of these people who design incredibly good looking games. So instead I thought I would do some out of box thinking to get around this category completely, and my idea was combining real objects such as the whiteboard with graphic design objects created to look like pen marks. And people really liked this concept, which landed me third place, and it ended the design round. So what round is next?
The task for round 2 will be to tell a story using sound.
It's music. Of course it is. So first thing I did is I looked at a range of music tools online. There's some really fun and silly tools out there. Some of them are really useful. What I'll do, because I'm showing lots of games and websites off, just look in the description, everything will be down there today. But out of all of them, the first one that caught my eye was a drum kit machine, where you could program the square boxes to make a drum loop. And first thing that came to mind was combining this with Age of War, a really sort of great old Flash game out there. Now my concept was that you would have these green squares randomly spawn on one side, and you would fight them with your purple squares. You could have different troops that did different things. Green and purple was not done by accident because I wanted to have a fancy graphics mode where you could replace it with punks and zombies. So I put a prototype together and I thought, good, we're done. Well, that's what I thought, and then I heard it. It sounded really bad, and because it's all randomly generated, it just sounds terrible. On top of this, actually when I showed the game to a couple of other friends, they didn't actually understand what they had to do, and it ended up with really slow music and really messy gameplay. So I thought this idea's been scrapped, back to the drawing board. If you want to try and fix this game or just have a look at how it works, I'll put a link in the description. The second idea was actually based off a tool called Incredibox. Now this is a really fantastic web tool and app where you can make music by combining loops together that you add to different people. This is what I was able to make in just a couple of seconds. So I thought about combining this with a rainy city, and I wanted you to play as a scared kid. You'd start with no music, and there'd be people whistling these loops around town. You could interact with them and they would follow you, and as you build up more people to follow you, you'd end up with a full song. However, I couldn't make these sounds, I also couldn't find these sounds, and my only option was actually just to rip them straight from Incredibox, which didn't feel right to me. So in the end, while I like this concept a lot, I just don't have the skills to do it. So scrap this one, back to the drawing board again. Good news, idea 3 is the one that sticks. I found another web tool called Typotone. Instead of having multiple tracks on the go, which has caused me lots of problems, this one you type in a sentence or a couple of words and then it starts playing tunes based on each letter. Here's an example. I knew I could work with something like this, and I started about remaking my own version of this tool inside of Construct. And I had this idea of basing it around fairy-like creatures, which I eventually called orbs. As the name gave a different tune each time, I would ask the user to pick a name for the orb, and then this would repeat in the background during the game. I also thought I could use this name to generate some random levels as well. Now, if you don't know, computers cannot make truly random numbers. Instead, it uses an algorithm which a seed is passed into. This is normally something that's constantly changing like time. However, games like Minecraft make it so you can use your own seed, creating the same level each time if the same name is entered in. I want to do the same thing where if you put the same name for the orb, you could generate the same level. So I've done some world design already and I did a tutorial on it, but I've got much better at it, so I decided to add some more detail and also change the colour palette to feel a bit more mystical. Finally, I actually needed something to do in this world, so I generated some additional orbs with the aim that you had to try and find them. At this point in my testing, the background was getting a little bit stale. So I decided to make an array with 200 of the most common names and randomly assign them to the orb with the aim that when you collect the orb, it will not only follow you, but their name will be added to the loop, making the song longer and longer. Now, if you find 5 out of the 14 that I randomly put in the level, the game ends. Finally, add a quick thumbnail and that's it. Round 2 entry is completed and uploaded. I'll be featuring some entries from round 1 and round 2 on the channel soon. So if you've took part in GDKO at all, whether you're construct or not, let me know and I'll feature it on the channel. And if you want to play the Lost Orb, in the description you'll find a link. It works on mobile and PC. This is all we've got time for today, so like, subscribe, do all the other YouTuber things, and I'll see you in the next video.